Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for being here and taking a little bit of time out of your very busy day. My name is Lise Béland, and this is an internal discussion at Collège Boréal in the City Plaza of downtown London. This is referring to a final project at the University of Fredericton in the EMBA 80/20 course called Innovation Best Practices by Professor Michel David. As part of the last assignment for the Innovative Leadership course, the Corporate Entrepreneurship and Innovation, there is a task to have an internal discussion, an informal internal discussion regarding the subject of innovation. So I've put here for Professor Michel on our board the two questions that make up the final project, the final thesis, the final exam, if you will. And I'd like to start, these are employees of Collège Boréal in London, so I'd like to take a moment to go around the table because this internal discussion will have to do regarding motivation. So I'll start here on my right.
My name is Lorraine LaFond, and I'm the manager for the Early Childhood Education Program. It was specially designed for Francophone immigrants. It's an accelerated course in 18 months compared to the regular post-secondary 2-year program. Functioning very well so far. We have 8 students in the class, and they're in their final stage. Starts in January, as January the 6th until March the 14th, and then they go on a 6-week placement. After that, they'll be ready to graduate, hopefully. We'll be able to graduate 8 students.
Thank you, Lorraine.
Good morning, my name is Sylvie Rodrigue and I work in the Employment Services of Collège Boréal division. And our role is to guide job seekers with their job search. We have different tools for them available. We have a resource center and we have consultants helping them in their job search. We also have a project not a project, but we have placements as well with employers. And this is also a very important part of our business where we try to give a chance to people, to give them the tools needed to be employed, so people that have more barriers. We have a lot of immigrants coming in our center, and we service primarily Francophones is our target.
Thank you, Sylvie.
My name is Emily Lowe, and I manage the Citizen Immigration Funded programs here at Collège Boréal. We have LINK program, which is Language Instruction for Newcomers, which is basically an ESL but funded by the federal government. We also have an enhanced language training, which is also English, but at a much higher level, with placements that are also funded by CIC to help these newcomers get Canadian work experience that they need to be able to better integrate into Canadian society. We also have our new settlement program, which helps newcomers that have just arrived in London to find basic needs such as housing, to schooling for their children, to where to buy the basic daily needs that they'll have to use to support their family and to better integrate. Also, we have entrepreneurship services for newcomers as well, which helps innovate and encourage newcomers to maybe start trades or a small business that they can sustain their lifestyle with and even to grow. So that's what we have right now in the immigration side of things.
Thank you, Emily.
My name is Philip Morin. I'm the manager of continuing studies at Collège Boréal. What that means is I'm in charge of all of the adult education programs, and as well we have an ACE program, which is an Access Career Education program, which newcomers to Canada that do not have a grade 12 for Ontario can come and get their equivalency so they can get either a job. So I work very closely with the Employment Center. So we do a lot of trading of names and people. Once people have done their education, we send them downstairs to get a job. We currently have about 600 students that take French as a second language. It's one of the larger programs at the college, and that's all done in the evening, and it's for Anglophones to come into the school to learn a second language. We do a lot of work with the governments and go on site to provide their employees with French language training as well.
Thank you, Philip.
Okay, hi, my name is Jean-Pierre Quentin. I'm the director for services and programs for Central Southwest of Ontario. I supervise mainly the immigration programs and also employment services. And also I'm part of certain, let's say, special committees regarding the development of the future of our education system for Collège Boréal, like for instance flexible learning and the future of our blended learning at Collège Boréal.
Okay, thank you, Jean-Pierre. And I'm Lise Béland, I'm the regional manager of Collège Boréal, and this is part of my team, and Jean-Pierre is my boss, my direct report. I chose to have these internal discussions in an innovative way, being that it is an innovative course. And I chose to be in the MBA stream in innovative leadership because I believe Collège Boréal is an extremely innovative college in the non-for-profit sector. Today's discussions, rather than one-on-one, to save time and to really integrate, which is really part of innovation, this gives us an opportunity to talk about the questions of this project. So let's begin then talking about innovation. Nobody here has been given any kind of information prior to this interview, or the discussion rather, except for what we've put on the board, and I think it's worth reading. Let's try to answer both parts of this question for the project, and let's go to part one. So for Collège Boréal, how does our organization, how does Boréal, how is it organized to stimulate the identification, evaluation, and incubation of innovations? And we'll start with the first question, for what types of innovation? And we'll deal with strengths and weaknesses after. But I think we should do a round table or just an ad hoc discussion based on what types of innovations do we have here at Boréal. We've already talked about the programs and services that we offer, but let's talk about, without even reading notes or textbooks, the things we are proud of that we do in an innovation way today.
Well, I like the fact that my students, when they come into the classroom, we have many people in the city that offer French courses. A lot of them are, you can go online, but we do it face-to-face, which is old school, but it's still an innovative way because we put an innovative spin on it. Instead of having one teacher, as in a lot of the other universities and colleges, one teacher teaches one level, and that's it. So if you take French 143 at the other school, it will always be the same teacher. What we do is we give the students an opportunity to have the teacher follow them, should they desire to, from beginning to the end. So after 10 courses, technically the student could have the same teacher all the way through, which is good, and it's also not so good. I go into the classrooms often, and I recommend to the students that they change teachers, because there's a lot of different ways to speak French. There's a lot of different accents. We have a lot of teachers from France, from Africa, from Quebec, from Ontario, who are all francophone, and I'll bring a different accent into the mix. I have some students that are adamant they only want to have a teacher from Quebec. And I say, great, but if you ever go to France, you're not going to understand what they're saying, even though they're speaking French. So the innovative, what we do is I bring variety and a different way of approaching the whole learning of the language, because I want to bring to the table a much wider variety of accents and learning styles, because if you learn one thing from beginning to end, you get lazy, because it's always the same method of teaching and learning. So it mixes it up, and I think that I get a lot of very positive feedback. You have great teachers, and you have really good teachers. It doesn't mean if they change, it's because they don't like their teacher. It's because we're prodding them to get more experience and broaden their knowledge.
Thank you, Philip. Good opener. All right, who wants to build on that? I hear diversification in that. And I think we need to go back to what companies that are more adaptable, flexible, fast, aggressive, and innovative are in better positions, not only to adjust to the dynamic, threatening, and complex internal environment, but to create change. So what we're hearing is the status quo of old management practices are gone by the wayside. The environment is turbulent, it's fast-paced, it's faster than the speed of light, the external environment is constantly changing. The baby boomers, the population is also getting older, younger people walking into the workforce, leaving some big holes in there. Things are changing, so how do you sustain? How do you even first get to be competitive, let alone sustain your edge? And by sustaining your edge, what we're hearing today and what we're learning is that corporate entrepreneurship, being entrepreneurs, as well as being innovative, is what will set you apart from others. So that's an innovative way. It's diversification and diversity. Who else would like to bring something else to the table on innovative practices?
Can I just kind of elaborate on that?
Yes,
The
yes.
innovative part is, we're small enough, when I get at the end of each class, I provide a survey to the students. And that tells me what they think of the classroom, the environment, the method, the way it's taught, and the teacher. I can react very quickly to make changes. And I'm given a lot of latitude to be able to do that. There was a lot of talk years ago about continuous improvement. Was the big buzzword. Did anybody really do it? Here, I'm able to live it after every session. I can make changes on the fly if I want. And you know, it reinforces the brand of the school, and it reinforces the fact that these people made a decision to come here. So I need to be innovative and be very, very forward-thinking in what I'm going to be delivering to them to keep them coming back.
Okay.
And I like that idea, because I find that we live in a multicultural society, and these people who come from other countries to Canada sometimes don't really understand what's acceptable in Canada. And when you expose them to all these different nationalities, I mean, you're giving them more, you're educating them a little more on how other people live. And again, you know, learning to accept other cultures, I think, is really, really important in our society today, because it doesn't matter where you go, you're going to be working with people from all over the world, and you need to understand them, you need to be able to work with them, how to talk with them, and I think we're just opening a lot of doors for these people, because if you're never exposed, and you're always just French people from Quebec, okay, that's great, but if you go and you want to travel, you're exposed to all these different nationalities, and I think it's wonderful. This is such a wonderful environment when you come in here, because you walk in the hallways and you hear people say hello in all their different cultures. I think that's awesome. And the people in our classes, in the different classrooms, said, oh my goodness, I've learned to say hello in this language and this language in one day. And you have to be ready for changes. And I think, like you say, when they make a suggestion, if you're able to make the change right away, you're teaching them how to adapt to changes. Because that's another thing. People are stuck in a rut where they just want to do one thing. But you have to tell them, listen, you may have 10 jobs when you leave here. People don't stay in jobs as long as before, because that's the way it is today. In your lifetime, you may have 20 jobs. And if you're not ready to adapt, I'm sorry, but you're not ready for this world.
So I hear speed, you know, in the way that we can move.
Mm-hmm.
Jean-Pierre,
Okay.
do you have something you want to add?
Yes. We are a small college, and as such, we always struggle to get, let's say, the number of students to fill up our classrooms. So this is always our main challenge. And it will become worse, because the demographics are playing against us. So we have to find a way to get in touch with new clients, new clientele. So we have a group of, let's say, managers working on a specific project called flexible learning. And the key word here is flexible, flexibility. So what we intend to do is we are spread across the province. We cover 90% of the province of Ontario. This is too large, okay? So we have, let's say, remote area like Wawa or Hearst, etc. So, but we have also big centers like Toronto or Windsor or London. So what we intend to do is to be able to serve not only the Francophone in Ontario, well, as well the Francophone in Canada. And why not the Francophone overseas? Through a platform that we will establish. This is really innovation, so we're working on that, where we will have online learning and blended learning as well. This will necessitate a lot of flexibility, a lot of communication, and also a lot of professional development. We are working on that. We need money. Okay, the funding is not always there, but again, you have to be creative. So you don't need a lot of money to do that. You need the technology. And the technology is expensive, yes, but there is ways to find, let's say, some funding for that. And you have just to look around. If it's not public funding, then it can be private funding. We have a foundation. They can, let's say, raise some money for that. And they have received actually the mandate to raise a couple of $1 million just to finance the platform. So we are getting there, we are going there to have some a new way to deliver our, let's say, courses, our programs, to expand our brand and also our reputation. So I have a phrase, yesterday we were told, well, in just one sentence, how would you describe all that? And actually, wherever you be in Ontario, in Canada, or overseas, you will have the opportunity to have access to our services in French, learning, programming, everything. Because we are and we will be the best and the first in Canada, Francophone college, to offer that kind of services. So we are getting there. Access will be very important, and flexibility as well will be very important. Meaning that you won't be obliged to get your credits or to get your diploma to be in class, okay? What they call the residency. The residency won't be that important. So you will be, I don't know, in Manitoba, in Wawa, even in Morocco, and you will be able to get your credit and to get your diploma. So this is where we are heading to. So I think that's a real, let's say, innovation that is taking place right now here at College Royal. So,
Do you think that the fact that we live in a minority gives us better ideas on how to service diversity? Because, you know, the French language is already, we're already a minority college. Does this become a strength or a weakness for us in an innovative capacity? Often I think that students appreciate the college because you know, the good ideas come from the people because we are already living in this minority, which means that we come up with innovative ideas, in my mind, to help global diversity because we know what it is to you know, to struggle and go get the funding and, you know, always justify our existence or deal in the competitive landscape that is just so much larger than us. We could have a handful of students, whereas we're competing, you know, the competition is fierce among big colleges. So does that help us get more innovative because we're already sort of the underdog? I think that it gives us a fight in us. That's my sense. Do you think so?
When we're always fighting to stay alive and we're always fighting to get our point across or to be acknowledged or to even create our brand, you really have to be innovative. So every time we find something that works, we'll roll with it. When not, we'll adjust it. And we listen to what everyone's saying around us and what people aren't doing. I know you have a famous line for we always have to find our white space. So we have to find out what's not being done or what's being done and do it better to really pull in the other people and keep ourselves alive.
So Jean-Pierre, what's different with this, with other flexible learning in other schools? Because often, you know, if we look at Fanshawe right now, in London, they offer MOOC, massive open online communication. what will be our competitive advantage? Yes, you mentioned that we'll be global, we'll be French, we'll be able to access, but I think, do you think what will sustain us is that we're going to involve employers in this?
Absolutely. Employers, we will have to engage employers, and the engagement of the employers will be the key for the success of this, let's say, it's not this project. Let's call that a project for the time being.
Yes.
For this project. And we will use as well the Workbay platform. And the Workbay platform is, I think, on the way of, it will be translated in French very soon. So as soon as it is translated in French, then it will be up and running and we will take advantage of this. So the LMS platform will allow us to engage not only learners but also employers. So, and this is the way it's gonna be, I guess, I suppose, because it's a very new project, and we are talking about a lot of things like mobile learning, learning analytics, and open education resources, and the MOOCs, etc., etc., etc. So we are going there. Our main advantage is that we will be the first to offer that in French. Okay, so
Excellent.
yeah, that's one.
Mhm.
Second, you were talking about diversity. Well, we are always, yes, in a minority situation, and we have to fight for survival. And this gives us, let's say, some powerful tools, because since we are always fighting, we are always thinking ahead of others. But as well, the diversity is among, let's say, the French community, because we have people coming from Africa, we have people coming from Europe, we have people coming from Russia, we have people coming from China. They are all Francophones. But when they come here, they are a minority in a minority. So we have a new expression, we call that racialized minority community. So not only we are a minority, but the others coming here, let's say, to be part of the Francophone community, they are all as well a minority in this minority community. So that creates also, I don't know, a challenge, but also a lot of opportunities for us and for them.
Excellent.
Lise,
Let's hear
if
from
I-
Sylvie.
If I can add to Jean-Pierre's point, the fact that we have Workbay, all these innovation in the education part of the business immigration will have a direct impact on employability, because the goal for all of the education is for people to get jobs at the end. So the platform Workbay, which is to have a displaying of jobs, employers will have access to this platform, say what kind of jobs are available, and the job seekers will have access to these jobs. So that's one part of Workbay for the employment side of the business. And like we said, the people that come here, we service mainly Francophones, will come from all over the world. But what is nice when they call Collège Boréal is that if they're not sure and they get to the employment side of the business and they need the extra course, then we know where to refer them so that they will be finishing their equivalency courses that they may need to be able to continue in their schooling. If the employers are embarked in this new project that Jean-Pierre is talking about, this will have direct impact on us. Maybe employers will be connecting with us in the employment services and see how we can help them recruit possibly their staff. So all of these innovations will definitely have an impact on us.
Okay, that's great. A lot of entrepreneurship speaks to the fact that what makes a company very entrepreneurial is its people. And a lot of talks in these books and in this MBA is about the value and the power of human resources. And I think around the table here, we know that in a small college that we wear many hats, and that we are very adaptable and flexible and very accommodating. And you know, whether there's what we call intrinsic rewards or extrinsic rewards. That means someone, you know, an intrinsic reward is that, hey, good job, or an extrinsic reward is a bonus. How do you think we, and we know there are no bonuses in the non-for-profit taxpayer.
It's intrinsic reward.
Yes, for us it's intrinsic. What is your feeling on innovation and people? Do you think that human resources, you know, people refer to it as a capital investment, if you will, by a corporation such as Boreal. Do you think that our people are innovative and that human resources plays a significant role, that people really do? What role do we play in innovating? I would love to know, I would love to hear your thoughts on that, because the best ideas in corporate entrepreneurship comes from people. People innovate, you know, we all know of Steve Jobs and many greats, and you know, the company is really innovative because of its people. And do you find that we're innovative people here?
Yeah.
And I guess we'll all say yes, but Collège Boréal as a whole, and what could we do to, I'd like to hear your thoughts on innovation and people of Boreal.
Mhm.
I think, like we've said before, because we're a small college in comparison to some of the larger colleges, of course, in Ontario, the rest of Canada, our teams of people maybe always strive to service their customers better with the means that we have, and maybe that's one of the reasons we are more innovative. We always try to see how can we be more efficient with the tools that we have, with the people that we have.
I think we here have developed a relationship with our customers or our clients that we serve, maybe a little bit more, how can I say it? Not in a friendly, but a more personal. We really take our clients and we really want to see them succeed. And so, like with the students in our class, they're all immigrants. They come from war-torn countries with a baggage that we can't even envision what they had to live. And they fled their countries with just the clothes on their back. To me, it's like, how do you move from Iraq or from, you know, Burundi, and you come here and start a new life? I don't know where they get the courage to do that, because I think, oh my goodness, if I had to move to Ottawa, just Canada, you know, how could I do that? They come here with a baggage, and so we become a little more involved with these people because they don't have a whole lot of money, and you have to think of how can we service and give them, you know, the tools that they're going to need to find a really, really good job. So with our program, we thought, well, you know, if we offered the program in an off-site location, maybe where they live, because some of them don't have cars, they don't have their driver's license here. So we have students that walk to the school, they have free parking. If they came here in the city plaza, you're looking at probably $100 a month that they would have to pay for parking. There's a bus that goes right in front of that school. Where they're in walking or busing, you know, to the place. It's a francophone environment. It's where they live, and I think we were able to give them that. We offer so many workshops to enhance the program that we're giving them, to give them the tools. The students that registered in the program at the beginning in January are not the same students that you see today. They're confident, they know they're ready to go into the workforce. Everywhere they went into their placement, we've had but accolades about how wonderful they are and can we keep them. So it has given them the confidence now to continue and to encourage other people in their community to come and take the courses here at college, Boreal, because we offer such great services to them.
But talking about what you were mentioning earlier, Lise, about the human resources, human capital, without human capital, there is no innovation. I mean, it's the people that make everything work. And I can't speak to the other locations of Collège Boreal, but in this location, I know there are probably other sections of Collège Boreal that look at us with a lot of jealousy, but we've developed a team that is probably the best team I've ever worked with. I mean, I've worked for companies before that I've been high up in the company, and it's the company's in silos, and nobody talks to each other. If you want innovation, if you're having an issue, here you just talk to somebody, and it becomes a group issue to try to solve it, and to try to innovate, and try to find an answer to the problem. And that's what it is here. So I'm only going to talk about London because that's, yes, enrollment, we're struggling with enrollment, but coming up with innovative ideas like having like the lunch and learn, the lunch hour French, it's becoming a huge hit. We have an article in the newspaper, we have ads on the radio now, it's becoming very popular. Even having, but where's the seed for innovation? It's listening to your customers and then being able to react quickly. And that's what marketing is. Marketing is listening to what the market has to say, but having the flexibility to be able to take it and then go to the next level, which is what we are able to do very quite easily. We're able to develop our ideas, put them forward, and have buy-in from management locally, and then to take them up to the higher level to get approvals. So it makes innovation a lot easier because you're not all by yourself. You do have it. Innovation's a team effort, really.
I wanted Emily to speak a little bit to performance and measures and outcomes. And I think the perfect example is our contract programs and services offered with Citizenship and Immigration Canada, because innovative companies have their innovation ideas and practices and outcomes and measures always tied into their strategic plans. And that's a great source of pride for us. I think that we've shown time and time again that we are capable of filling performance measures and outcomes for all our government-funded programs. That's our survival. And many people don't achieve their outcomes. And I think innovative and entrepreneurship companies can even look at process and improve process. It's part of it. So maybe Emily, because we haven't heard a lot from you, talk to us a little bit about our performance outcomes and measures and what we do to achieve those and surpass them, and what types would they be perhaps?
The types of performance evaluations that we get from CIC are usually tied in with the contracts that we sign every year. They're linked to how many students we have to have in seats, how many sessions we have to give throughout the year, and also how many clients we help refer internally, externally, especially with the Employment Center and even with other language, the ACE upgrading. So a lot of it ties into how and where we can best meet the needs of all the students. We also need to make sure that our partnerships are very strong, because we need to now produce more with less. So again, we need to be very innovative in the way that we not only serve our clients, but the way we work with our partnerships as well. For innovation, when it comes to classes, we need to really look to our evaluations that we have from our students. We also need to realize what kind of marketing works best with our students, and to be innovative with that. Sometimes it's as easy as knowing that the community speaks for itself. So if you have a good team, and your students like the teachers that are serving them or helping them, or even the settlement workers that are helping them, that gets out of the community just by word of mouth. And that's our strongest marketing. So through evaluation in our courses and identification, with the help of CIC, knowing what the numbers are that we have to achieve, we can be very innovative in the way that we go out to make sure our classes are full. And even with our budgets, we do have our outcomes that we receive yearly. We negotiate, but when we do happen to have slippages, the best way to avoid those, because we never want to give money back, is to look at innovative ways to spend that money, to show CIC that we can surpass all the numbers that we need to achieve for the year. And in ways we've done that, we've added classes where we hadn't had classes before. We've changed class schedules, listening to the feedback we've received from students, knowing that maybe 4 days a week is better than 5. And in doing so, we can improve our budgets and offer courses when other schools cannot. So that gives us a competitive edge. Instead of losing students for 2 months, we can keep them for 2 months, and their friends hear about that. And again, the whole community effect comes back and helps reward us. So when it comes to checks and balances that we receive from the government, it's great to have those because we know it as a starting point. And that can help us be more innovative to surpass those, to really show that we're capable to do more.
Excellent. All right, so let's have a look, lastly, in closing, if we answered all these questions for my MBA project. So I think we looked at the way we organize ourselves to stimulate the identification, evaluation, and incubation of innovations. When we talk about incubation, we refer to a lot of pilot projects we take on. We didn't speak of those today because we have so much on our plates, but the incubation is the project Lorraine referred to. I would call that an incubation because it's a pilot project with measures to the government, and if we can prove that that is successful, then it means that we're able to go and get more of those. We also talked about our strengths. We talked about our strengths, our investments, our collaborations, our partnerships, and our weaknesses. I think our weaknesses we know is lack of funding and sometimes lack of resources in colleges, technology, demographics. We have to go and scrape to find the francophone, whether he's global or not, he or she is global. Knowing all of that does not mean we don't have strategies to support that. And on our findings, what changes will the organization make to improve innovations? Keep in mind that our current culture, and I think it's very important to note that we are at the almost the tail end of our 5-year strategic plan with a brand new president. So our current culture of the organization and our fit and ways that we recommend innovation may change, because changes will be implemented with a new president, that's for sure. So do we believe we're a company that is adaptable, yes or no?
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Do we believe we're flexible, yes or no?
Very.
Yes.
Are we fast? Sometimes fast.
We could be faster.
We could be faster. Are we aggressive?
Very.
We're very aggressive, especially with JP at the helm when he goes and finds the funding, and I will put him, find the funding, develop the relationships at the federal and provincial level to show that we are capable to take funding and come up with taking that white space that we need for survival long-term. And that's really corporate entrepreneurship. And are we innovative, yes or no?
Absolutely, yes.
Yes.
Yes, because if I can just talk about Boreal as a whole.
Yes.
Okay? I supervise, let's say, several managers in Central Southwest, but I also collaborate with others in Northern Ontario. And I think that the first quality of all our managers is to be innovative, but also they are very competitive. They want to grow, they want to succeed. I call them hunters. They shoot at all moving target that has innovation, new product, new program, or a dollar sign on it.
And in this course, we call that an entrepreneur.
Yes, exactly. And I always say, if you have an idea, come and talk to me. We'll find a way to have it, let's say, to have it worked, to make it happen. So, we are flexible, yes. We are aggressive. Not that fast, but innovative for sure.
I think when you say we're not maybe as aggressive as we would like, the fact that a lot of our programs are funded by the government, like we're a service provider under the Ministry of Training and Education, colleges and university. So we have guidelines, we do have targets, we have caseloads, so a certain amount to meet. certain directions that we take. And so in that box, there's, can you be innovative and aggressive within that frame? You can do things
Yeah.
differently, and I think we probably do from other colleges, but we still have to work on doing things.
Even outside the box. For
Yes.
instance, with MCI, with MC, we really thought outside the box because they refused our project 2 or 3 times, and then we said, okay, if, let's say, we present a proposal within the guidelines, it won't be accepted. So we filed a proposal outside the guidelines, outside the box, and it has been accepted because it was innovative, and it was answering certain needs in the community. And for MTCU, it's the same.
Yes.
Yeah, we asked for more. Well, but the guidelines are there. Well, whatever. Forget about the guidelines. We want more because of this, and that.
Yes, yes, and I want to build on Sylvie's point, and that's the whole idea of the integration of the services, because perhaps that's not their mandate today, but long-term it is. So yes, we have to live with within their guidelines, but you need to have that innovative, long-term thinking to say, yes, look at us, we will pilot your long-term thinking. So there is a way to look beyond that, not the norm. The status quo doesn't work anymore. Really, you need to survive and sustain a competitive advantage. I think that we need to, we do a good job with our resources.
And it just made me think of something the other day. I was chatting with one of the teachers, and the fact that when we come to work, we don't work in Canada. We work in such a diverse area with funding from everywhere and everything, and we're trying to make it fit, and we're rolling with the punches, and we're making sure our team is good, because without a good team, you really don't have much. And you know, we don't work in Canada though. Like you said, you walk down the halls and you hear all the different languages, and everyone's here to learn French, and everyone's here to work together. So we're lucky that way. We have to be innovative.
And it diversifies us in more ways than we think, more than language and more than culture, because I think it diversifies us in the way we look at business, the way we see business, the way we think about business.
And we're almost like a one-shop stop, right? Because, like, if the students are here, and like you say, we take advantage of your services with the ACE program and giving them their equivalency. We take advantage of employment options because they need to be able to write a resume, which they probably have never done, and interviewing skills and all these things that help them to be job ready. Language barriers, we need to address all of that and make sure. So they come here and they go, oh, and I always say to them, did you go down to employment options? They can help you with your resume, really? And then you bring them down there and we can help you with all these services. So I think that's being innovative. They come and they get all the services in the one place.
And lastly, one piece that's in our strategic plan that's very important, and I think it really speaks to entrepreneurial spirit and innovation, is our community vitality. When you're in the corporate world, you don't necessarily, you may have other corporate, you have your network, but it's part of the job and the charm even, if you will, to work in a non-for-public sector, especially in a community college, to have a true community vitality. And a lot of that you do as a volunteer, but it engages your partnerships, and it really speaks to innovation. Does anybody want to add the importance of that community vitality?
Well, I mean, I think all of us do our part in the community. We're members of, boards of directors of a lot of different, for me it's a lot of literacy programs, because that's what the ACE program is all about. Workplace literacy, just basic, literacy in of it itself is a taboo word because people think they don't know how to read. Well, it has nothing to do with reading. If you don't know how to use a computer, you're computer illiterate. If you don't know how to do your taxes, you're basically, you're tax illiterate. But is that a bad thing? No, it's trying to identify them and going out into the community and letting people know that we're here. Because there's a lot more francophones that probably touch other organizations in the city than we know about. Why is that? Because they want to learn how to speak English. Maybe they don't come here. They want to learn how to speak English, so they go somewhere else. They can't get the service they need. They want to complete their high school diploma in French. They come back here. It's getting out and letting people know we are here, the services that we provide. If people hear us on the radio and more and more when I go out into the community now, all I say is, I'm with the French Community College, and I think 95% of people go, oh, you're with Boreal, right? I don't even say the name now, it's like a probing question to see if they come back, and it's starting to come back. People know, oh, you're with Boreal. Yes, perfect. But it's very important because it gets us known, and we're vital. We're a vital service in the city. I find we're very vital, and we need just to get the word out there that we're there. And I think everybody does that.
When we look at our mandate on our website, and that is the mandate also of our new president, Collège Boréal has a dual mandate to serve both as a post-secondary college institution as well as a vital community development organization. So in fact, it's very alive and well. Collège Boréal is an educational, innovative, cultural, and community hub, serving the diversified Francophone population of Ontario, Franco-Ontarians, immersion students, French-speaking members of the First Nation and Métis communities, French-speaking immigrants, and Francophiles. Its purpose is to produce a highly skilled, bilingual labor force, fully engaged in the French-speaking community, and contributing to the economic, social, and cultural vitality of the province and the country. Says it all.
Yeah.
That really is our mandate, and I think we've touched upon today all those pieces, the resources, the diversity, certainly the community vitality, the future projects. And of course our vision, let's see, does anybody know our vision? It's 4 words, it's very simple. Foster knowledge and stimulate culture, but we know it more as nourrir le savoir, faire vibrer la culture. Well, I want to thank you very much for giving me an hour of your very precious time in my journey to complete my MBA in a stream of innovative leadership. I really value your input, your ideas, and I hope that not only will I do well in my MBA journey, I'm pretty sure I will, but more importantly, it gives us an opportunity to participate in education, because we are in the world of education, and tying the two, bringing these ideas to life in our own corporate culture. Thank you very much.
Thank you.